What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Kingdom Hearts 4 controversy, if we can actually call it that. There was a statement made from Tetsuya Nomura, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this before. If you haven't, I actually think the Gamers Joint has done a phenomenal job. 2 videos kind of back-to-back at explaining the whole thing. I wanted to throw my hat into the arena, so we're going to read the translation. And what's so fascinating about this entire story is there are so many different ways of reading into it. There's kind of, okay, was it all kind of planned? Are people withholding things? Is this a super good story? Is this a super negative? And if it is one of those two, right, like what has changed for Kingdom Hearts going forward, what actually is it? The Gamers Joint has an opinion, right? I've read his comments, and there's like 30 different opinions of what people think Tetsuya Nomura is talking about. So that's what I find so crazy about this entire thing, is this can go in a lot of different directions. So let's read what happened here. And this comes from Audrey, who does an incredible job on Twitter with a lot of different games, not just Kingdom Hearts. Apparently, Nomura was at the Kingdom Hearts Second Breath concert today, and his commentary with Shimomura was interesting. Here's the transcription. Last year, after the Kingdom Hearts event, there was something that happened that determined the direction of the Kingdom Hearts series. Huh? What? What happened? Reaction that looked like, but it must be all right now. Turning to Shimomura, oh, you didn't know? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'll tell you backstage. And people have gone back and forth, so you have to read like the expressions of these people's faces, right? Like, how did Nomura look at that time? And people honestly have different reads, but it does seem like the most popular read of the situation is it's a positive thing. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to mean the initial, right? Because when he talks about, so this thing last year and something changed, from that point till now, there's no great indicator if it was all always great, right? If the whole situation was fantastic even back a year ago, or if it's just great now. And the opinions are all over the place. One of them, and the Gamers Joint had talked about this, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. One theory is like Disney has dropped them, right? That there's not going to be Disney. Well, that's not going to happen. And people have made good points. Why would he go on stage to hint at something that could potentially be absolutely disastrous, right? Now, there is probably like worst case scenario. I have seen some people talking about this, and I would say I would agree with this. The worst case scenario would be something like maybe there was back and forth discussion of who gets to like wildly control the future of this franchise. And I guess what I mean by that is we know Disney has a huge part to play in how these games function and stuff. Nomura obviously being the creative director, right? And we've put a lot of trust into him. It's his story, at least from the Xehanort saga and this Lost Master saga, right? Like, this is a story that not Disney's gonna tell. This is a story we want him to tell, for better or worse. We want him to tell it. So I would say that is worst case scenario. I've seen comments talking about, maybe Disney slipping in the, well, let's reimagine it for modern audiences, right? I would say if Disney gets their hands on it in a way, I guess, that they haven't had it before, and that's what Nomura is hinting at, that would be very bad. I don't trust Disney. I don't really like Disney, modern day at least, and I don't think they would do this franchise justice literally at all. So I'm really hoping that is not what he's talking about. But again, and it's tough because these are still executives at the end of the day. These are still higher ups. Even though I think we would perceive that as a negative, Nomura might not, because, of course he wouldn't, because he's in that world. Maybe he has to play nice, whatever. So, could he think of that as a positive thing? I guess it's possible, right? To play devil's advocate, I think that's possible. But a lot of the more negative, opinions of what it could be, right? Whether it's a delay. Some people are talking about, an art change. That would be something kind of wild, honestly. Number one, because I feel like the art would already kind of be set in stone. I don't know what would have changed over the last year. But then that gets into the whole, well, if he's, hinting at a delay, or, some people are saying it's canceled. There's absolutely no way. If he's hinting at a delay, like things slow down or whatever, I don't know. I like the transparency, if that's true. And if he's trying to play nice with the audience, the core audience, he loves these people. He knows the people love him. Maybe he wants to be honest with them. I guess that's fine in one sense, but I don't know. I don't think that's really something you would go out there and say. But there's debate. There's debate of, was the whole thing planned? Where, the conversation kind of goes, Nomura knows something that she doesn't know. And what if that's not true? What if she does know? I've seen people talk about that. What if she knows what he's talking about, but they just don't know if they were allowed to say it out loud, if they were allowed to announce it. It could be something with Marvel. You look at the trailer, and Star Wars, I think, is a lock. I think it's been a lock for a long time. I feel like probably going into the earliest planning of Kingdom Hearts 4, that's what they knew they were going to get. But then Marvel, maybe not, right? So it could be a wild amount of things. Hopefully, it's something positive. I've seen people talk about maybe a TV show. Maybe he's talking about that. But when it talks about the future of the franchise, right? Like, this is a direction change for the franchise. Art, tone, rating. It's got to be something somewhat large. Otherwise, because that just has, that phrase just has such a big weight to it. You wouldn't throw that around there if something somewhat massive didn't happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. Check out my other socials, our Discord server, all that jazz. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.